just reduce a little bit of cost. And R&D has also embarked on a journey wherein they would close down all R&D centers, all the data centers, and only have 7 R&D centers worldwide. So that's good news for me. So at least if the data centers go, I mean, those 50 servers will close down, the storage will go, lots of these NetApps and the Sunboxes will go. So all these storage will obviously go away. And so that will reduce the pain that we are already going through. To make it simple, what we have done is we wanted to look at storage from user perspective. So if I had to give somebody a SAN versus somebody a normal hard disk, there's obviously a cost. So we looked at people and we found that important people are also spread all across the country. So we couldn't possibly give everybody a SAN box. So what we did was we said, the only things that don't move is the buildings, the offices. So we said we'll classify these offices as A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, or whatever else. And we'll have different standards for each of them. And then we mapped all the infrastructure. So the second layer, the underlying layer, if you have this red one, we already have, there are the pieces also like servers and how the data center should look like and what should be given, what should not be given. See, on the x-axis, you'll have the ABCDs, the classifications, and on the y-axis, you'll have all the infrastructure. So I have marked one in red, which is the storage. So if you have an A kind of an office, and which we decide, and we have only one A kind of an office, we have the empty sets of course, we'll have the SAN storage, and then it goes on. So you have an EVA there, which is the highest cost element, going on to an AIO, to a SATA and whatever else. So that's how we would like to limit our costs. What I would need in future is, we have heard about this tiered storage, and it is left for me to decide whether I want SAP on EVAs, and I want EVAs or the sandboxes, and if I want the mails on the sandboxes, or I want it on a local hard disk or a low-cost archive media and so on and so forth. So what I would want is, I would want a very thin software which automatically decides on its own the importance of the data and pushes that data to the right storage media and keeps my cost low. This is something which in telecom terminology we call it least cost routing. So if you make a call, it does not necessarily go through the most congested, the best route. It goes through the least cost route to save money for the telecom operators. So this is what we would want, I would want implemented in the storage area as well. You know, least cost routing. Moment somebody creates a data, put it to the least cost or the best storage that is possible. If you have an SAP data, you can obviously push it to the EVA boxes, or if you have mail data, you can push it to the low-cost boxes. So if you have mails which are 180 days old and somebody is still trying to access it and reading it, the software should decide where it needs to pick it up from. Also, this intelligent software should do tariff-based costing for me. So I would tell this software what is the amount or the kitty that I have. And based on this, this software should alert me and decide where my data is, how much should I add, and where should I add. Should it be the highest cost element that I should add, or should it be the lowest cost element that I should add? So that's how I can then keep my kitty in place and also be able to justify this, rather than getting into discussions with EMCs and IBMs and HPs every time and again, trying to justify what I should then do and what I should not. And I want my 10-year-old disks to remain. There should be no generation gaps. Yeah. I think that was the last part. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, that's it. That's it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Tamal. We have some time. We have suggestions and questions at this stage. I think a lot of people here would relate themselves with what Tamal has just expressed. So we have some opinions out here. Richard, Tamal expressed that vendors generally sell more confusion than clear the mist. Would you like to defend yourself on that aspect?
I couldn't agree more. Where is the right way to go? What is the right technology to deploy? And it's been that way for a decade and a half? Do I have low-end, low-tiered, low-cost with low reliability? How does it all fit together? And I really believe that these issues that Tamal just brought up as well really make our lives complicated when it shouldn't be complicated. That there should be an open standard, an open platform that still allows you to utilize the existing technologies or, let's say, older technologies, and also implement the newer technologies. Not so, whether you get better performance or things like that, but also from an environmental standpoint, that it's just better to run your business with the newer technologies going forward. So there's a couple ways to do it. I think one way is to outsource and leave the storage management to somebody else. There's another way, which is similar to the platform that I described earlier, which takes a lot of the complexity out of the environment. That's really the way that storage is going, is headed. And again, it comes also back down to the amount of unstructured data, or even the lack of control that you have within your own environment. And how do you leverage that as opposed to fighting it? So I think there's a lot of vendors that are at different points. A little bit of self-promotion here, and it's whether it's XID is really what I'm promoting here, but it really comes from the one of the doyens of the industry that developed storage 20 years ago, and his fallout with EMC, which was, why do we want to kill the cash cow when this new technology can come out, which is a lot more open, a lot more flexible? So quite frankly, 6 years ago, he quit and built the technology from a white piece of paper that addresses these particular issues. So it's about openness, it's about flexibility, it's about reduction of complexity, and it's about making storage a non-issue, because there's a lot of issues around storage. So.
Thank you, Richard. And can we have the mic, please?
Standards. There is a SNIA which defines industry standards. And secondly, I believe that when you go to virtualization, it is possible to have a heterogeneous mix of equipment to work as one. Am I right in thinking so?
Itself manage the, you still have the issue of having to determine where to put the information on what spindle. And really that should be a non-issue. There should be no spinning disk as part of the equation. It should be an automated process that maximizes the efficiency of what's in the virtualized system. So virtualization is really just a mask of leveraging different technology, but it's not really intelligent virtualization. It's just more of a filter to be able to speak different languages into one language. So, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but at least there are.
I don't think SNIA has really, personally, I don't think they've rallied around certain technologies where we've seen standards in other aspects of IT to a level there's still way too much confusion. The standards, I don't think, are broad enough to apply to everybody.
Thank you. Okay, I think I will also adhere to the time and will close the session at this stage. Thank you, Richard, once again.